be reviewing today the Kel Tec SU16 semi-auto 223 takedown rifle. Very cool little kit, something that's a little bit different. We're not always going to look at the cheapest option here on the Budgetgunnut. Occasionally I get to play with some really cool toys just because they're cool. That being the case, this is one of those cases where I got to have a talk with the guys at Gun City and put up my hand to review this for you guys and show what it can do. So keen to get out there and have a look at it. So we're going to initially just go through the impressions and a few of the features, and we'll shoot out to the range, run it through paces, give it a few tests for you to see, and then I'll come back and give you my conclusion at the end of the review. So let you know how it's gone and where I see it falling in the grand scheme of firearm use. So buckle in, sit back. This is the Kel Tec SU16B, or Bravo, one of the 4 submodels in the Kel Tec collapsible semi-automatic sporting rifle range. The Bravo model has been designed with compactness, portability and ease of storage in mind, and it's 300 grams lighter than the Kel Tec SU16 Alpha, the original model, which itself was already a lightweight. If you compare the 2 kg weight of this rifle to the average AR-15 weight of 3.2 to 4.5 kgs, or my heavy barreled AR-15 weighing in at 5.5 kgs without any ammunition, that can make quite a difference over a full day hunting. This lightweight is due to all but the barrel, bolt carrier group and mechanism of the gun being constructed out of high strength polymer. When compared to other semi-auto 223 options such as the Sega weighing in at 3.5 kgs or Ruger SR556 at 3.6 kgs, it'll certainly be easier on the arms if weight is of concern to you. This construction does give the Kel Tec a very plastic feel to hand when you first pick it up, and it feels unnatural to a familiar AR user such as myself. But when you give it the consideration that it's really just a step further than the synthetic stocks that the majority of hunting rifles have already adopted, it's not really so much of a scary thought. It raised the question with me, would the upper withstand long-term use? Would the plastic last? Well, the more I've handled and used the Kel Tec, the less that seemed like an issue with the sturdiness and lack of flex in the high strength polymer. Certainly you can almost forget about it while you're using the gun. The weight is also further reduced by a lighter weight barrel than the Alpha model was originally constructed with. This has drawn questions from some users as to whether it can stand up to a sustained high rate of fire, and that's something I intend to put to the test, although with New Zealand's ACAT magazine restrictions, I think it's unlikely that the average New Zealand shooter will be pushing that limit on a regular basis. Certainly in the US, with the lower cost of ammunition, the availability of gun ranges and larger magazines, this probably does become a factor when you're choosing this rifle. The Bravo is 35.9 inches long and loses almost a full foot in length by collapsing its stock. This makes it an option for placing into a long or deep hiking style backpack, but unfortunately not a day pack size. It's also an option for storing it in a smaller bench height lockable cupboard, as opposed to requiring a full height safe. It breaks down by means of a takedown pin, which can be removed using the tip of a round or other pointed implement. The pin is then stored back into the same place in the receiver when the stock is folded away and held in place by a retaining spring. The forend of the Kel Tec comes away from the barrel and folds down into a bipod. This is a pretty clever idea, however I've found in use that this bipod doesn't do as much for the accuracy as I'd hoped, and found that the Kel Tec tended to shoot better off the shoulder or resting on a solid object such as a backpack, log or fence post. The Kel Tec comes standard with a post front sight and a peep rear sight mounted to the integrated Picatinny rail. The rear sight's unobtrusive and it's great to leave on the gun as a backup in case of optic failure. The Picatinny rail gives you access to a world of optics and accessory mounting options, much like a flat top AR does. The stock has recesses to store 2 loaded 7 to 10 round mags, or can hold one 30 round mag. The 2 5 round magazines supplied with the New Zealand package are of plastic construction, but the Kel Tec will accept any standard AR magazine into its magwell. The rifle's definitely something different, and I'm looking forward to heading out to the range to answer some of the questions I have about it. Okay team, so the idea with the Kel Tec being, you're going to pull it out of the old backpack, strap it on, something like that. Okay, so this is a couple of quickfire groups out of the Kel Tec. It has not done too badly actually. So this is dead cold bore, and you can see there's a little bit of shift. I can't say 100% that that's not a little bit of me getting comfortable as well, but first round, second round, and then these 3 are this in the same hole. Next group was just a mag change. First round and then 4 rounds touching. So that's good enough for me to start taking it out to longer range. So these are a must. Yeah, I think the gun did pretty well. Pretty sure my measurement for adjustment must be a bit out, so nice and on the axis, but a little bit high by about ½ an inch. Pretty happy with how it's shooting though. That's 5 rounds. Right, so we dialed her up to 100 yards, and you can see here that this particular Kel Tec, that's the cold bore shot. Got me a little bit worried, but it's grouping really nicely in the centre here for 100 yards. Pretty happy with that, so yeah, it's shooting nicely at the rest. That's just from a prone position, back up 100 yards on the hill, so might give it a try offhand and see how it likes that.
Go nuts.
Yeah, that was
Nice.
quite cool actually. Easy to shoot.
Is he?
Yeah, shoot, yeah. Be a good little fun gun really. Light airs.
We just thought we'd get the first impressions of someone he's an avid shooter down in Gizzy, goes after the dares, knows a lot of old guns, but just get the feel of this compared to, you know, the rifles we all like to shoot and the way we all like to shoot. So how did you find them, mate? How'd it feel?
They actually shot really nice. Yeah. The triggers, you know, it's pretty good for a semi too. It doesn't kick up. You know, like you're back on your target real quick. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, look, well, thanks for having a shoot, mate. Thanks for coming on board.
stand out. So that felt pretty nice under sustained fire. Even though the stock looks like it'll be a little bit small, it's really all about the length of pull to your shoulder, and it still felt really snug in there. I was repeating those shots pretty nicely. Okay, so down at the target, reasonable spread of bullets for high rate of fire. That's not too bad. Yeah, majority on target and in a nice ball. Okay, so I'm trying to film here. I've had helicopters going over, I've had trucks going past, I've got cars going past on their way home, but I really want to get this knocked out, so we'll persevere. Apologies if you get anything crazy coming through the background. So first impressions of the Kel Tec SU16. I was pretty excited to get my hands on it. For some reason I had basically a picture of a fold down AR, and so I was somewhat taken back and sort of went, oh, this feels a little bit plasticky. Got to using the Kel Tec and I'd completely forgotten that it was plastic. What I was just appreciating was the feel of the gun, how light it was, how portable it was. So good, nice and good size, came up nicely, not too much recoil, back on shot pretty quickly for your follow-up shot. So it's a really nice light little gun, so just over 2 kgs, pretty much half the weight of an AR, depending on how you've got it configured, and a good 2/3 of most of the semi-auto 223s out there. So where do I see it fitting in? Like I said, it was a pleasure to shoot, and it is a very, very light gun. So perhaps if you are struggling to haul around something a little bit heavier, but you still want the follow-up shot capability of a 223 semi-auto, then this could be the gun for you. It's around 2 kgs, which puts it at about half the weight of an AR, and yeah, significantly lighter than most other guns in that caliber and configuration. So that could be an option for sort of shooters who are getting on a little bit in years, perhaps female shooters, young shooters starting out who are finding the bigger weight of the guns a little bit cumbersome, but they do want to get into some higher caliber semi-auto shooting, and the 22 just isn't cutting it. So at 223 it'll do for fallow deer quite nicely, really be the caliber of choice for that, because you don't want to spoil the meat too much with banging it with big cannons. Yeah, all in all, still a very cool gun. The takedown capability is cool, can fit it into a larger size backpack, wander through the bush with it, and it's not going to get caught up on every branch and vine struggling through the bush there. So it's got the integrated Picatinny rail, which means that you've pretty much got the world open to you in terms of optics. You can go little scope, big scope, red dot, take your pick, however you want to shoot it, close range to long range. I found, and you'll see through, obviously through the videos there, it grouped pretty well. So thanks for watching. If you're still here till the end, good work. Some of these can get pretty long. If you've liked what you've seen, please do give us a like down the bottom there, and also click on subscribe. Okay, the channel's growing really nicely, but I'd like to keep that up, and it's great if I can get that kind of feedback that you've found the video useful. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned and tight groups.